feminine darlings. This is the Seraph and Gem Gypsy, SeraFae Indigo Empress, and Shiloh Horizon. I don't plan to be here for too long, but I do have a little reading to do, so let's jump into that. Thank you, God, for the clarity and the protection and the truth. Whispering heart. So listening to the gentle truth, intuitive truth. Lady of Becoming, right? There's a reference here of shifting into a higher frequency. Your physical environment might not currently reflect where you want to be in life, but focus on where life is calling you. Picking something up about, not so much physically speaking, more metaphorically speaking, dressing for the part that you want, not the one that you have, or the job that you want, not the one that you have. But before any karmics try to jump on the bandwagon to copycat, because that's not what that means. I mean, maybe to pay the bills, you've been working at the grocery store, but your true calling is, for me, it's psychic mediumship. For someone else, it might be painting boats. Who knows? But they have their own calling. Maybe it's some kind of social justice for somebody else. They've got their own calling. And so they might have been at the grocery store job to pay the bills, but it was to transition them or moonlight them into their calling, their passions, what they're best at, what the divine is calling them to do. Transitioning out of one and into the next. Which is something that the divine would be calling them to do. The divine has not been calling these karmics to steal from people and copy people. That was dark energy. Right? Our Lady of Creative Choice. And it was a choice. Especially I'm picking up not just but those karmic females, those Jezebel females who wanted to copy divine feminines. Also, in some cases, the karmic males who were trying to doppelgang divine masculines. Wanted the title but did not want to behave. Yeah, Our Lady of the Sacred Sun, exactly. Wanted the title but didn't want to behave. And so they don't have it. That's why they don't have it. They tried to claim it, but it wasn't for them. They weren't embodying that. They were frauds, and now people see them as such. Our Lady of Resurrection, right. As the light workers come back into, we burst back into light. Our highest spaces of selves. Lady of Blessings Bestowed. Lady who prevents interference, precisely. And that's why I come here with the energy updates to check in. I've been pretty busy. It's been a busy, long day. I've got some stuff to do. Including getting ready to make some sourdough. Got a little cast iron here. No. Cast iron here. Dutch oven here. I'll make some banana bread too with that. I'm busy. Our Lady of Comfort, right. Mind your business, Karmics. This is why you have got nothing good going for you. You were too busy focusing on others. Our Lady of the Ripening of the Vine, while we're over here baking bread and washing grapes. Our Lady of Truth, that's it. Lady of the Sacred Waters. Okay, speaking of sacred waters, the way you make sourdough is with clean water. It has to be clean. Purified, filtered. All right. Let's do this one first. Laughter. Here, it's the best medicine. Also, organic weed helps. Expectation. So there's an expectation of change, transition, healing. So level of sovereignty or upright energy, integrity. And there's something about people matching energy. So if you've been a decent person, you've been holding a space of integrity even when others haven't, even if others haven't, that's who is coming through to match that vibe, tribe, soul family. These karmics I've been taking over catching karma. Some of them have been mad, some of them have been sad, some of them are scared, some of them are a combination of which, and they're all upset that they lost the light workers. Discretion in reverse. Because they had no discretion, it was not a good situation. What does this say? Truth in reverse. That's the second deck that has come out with truth, but this time it's in reverse. Imagination. Yeah, they thought that they were clever. They thought that they could force things into... They thought that trying to force things into their favor was creativity. That wasn't. They were being rigid and narrow-minded and short-sighted. Risk in reverse. It was a bad gamble. They should not have done that. Listen in reverse. And they didn't listen to any kind of intuition if they had any, certainly not to the divine. And in a number of cases, I had plenty of karmics that came here to stalk me and watch me. So they listened to me. They heard what I said. They just didn't take good advice. Keeper of hope. Yeah. They wanted also to crush the hope and the feelings of survival, the ability to supersede and overcome what they'd done to people. They wanted people to give up because that makes people easier to control. If you have even a little bit of faith in God, it's all the strength in the world to oppose this karmic energy because you know that you have support in doing so and you're not alone. Solitude, exactly. So this is where they wanted people. Got lotion under my fingernails now. They wanted people isolated also because it makes people easier to bully and abuse. Permission. And they did this aggressively. They did not have the right to do this. They were doing this to dominate situations or people they had no business either going near, or to take things that they had no business taking. Keeper of time. And they thought that they could get away with it if they dragged out these situations or continued to commit these atrocities over and over again. They thought they could win. I heard that. Hold on, I have some raw channels. Yesterday or the day before, I think it was yesterday. Bulking, B-A-L-K-I-N-G. To bulk is a baseball term. For those who don't understand baseball, you've got the pitcher, you've got the batter, and then you've got the person running around the bases. And so the goal is for the pitcher to pitch and then the batter to bat. And when a pitcher is bulking, this is when they do that thing to strike out. They want the opposing team to strike out. So they will pretend to throw the ball, they'll fake it out. And if the batter swings, then that's a negative point or it's a positive point. I forget whether they lose points if they swing or the other team gains points. I think that's what it is actually. But either way, it's not good. If the pitcher fakes out a throw and the batter still swings, that's not good for the batter's team. But sometimes you have pitchers who don't really want to pitch. They want to play dirty. So they will just sit there and continue to pretend to throw the ball. And a fake out here and there is, it's fine. But when you're consistently doing that to the point where you're just it's like trying to throw the game. You're not even trying to pitch, which is your job. Like, yes, you can fake out, but if all you're doing is trying to fake out, then what's the point of having a pitcher if you don't even try to pitch or want to pitch even once? And when a referee notices that they're doing that, they'll put a negative strike on the pitcher's team or call the pitcher out. But when a pitcher just keeps doing the fake out thing, it's called bulking. I've seen people do this in the court system too when they don't want to face accountability or they want to buy themselves time to... What I've seen is if a criminal thinks that they can, I hear bum rush, like bum rush right towards a victim and target them and just bombard them with all kinds of accusations and bully them to the point where they've got like little to no chance of defending themselves, they do. But if they think they're going to lose in court, they try to cancel those court dates or postpone those court dates. Bulking, because they don't want to take accountability, so they try to drag it out. Sometimes it's just to try to get away from accountability, but in other cases it's because they want to buy themselves more time to go target the victim, to intimidate the witnesses. Yes, also so that they can get out of accountability by trying to flip that script in the narrative. But I've seen it. So no matter which way this is, I see something about, like, what is that, a house or a bank, something to do with money, somebody trying to drag out a timeline of something, maybe either them getting paid or having to pay something out. When the pitcher is not even really trying to pitch, they can lose the game. You can have the game, it's like disqualification, forfeited. And so they thought that they were sneaky. They thought that they were slick. They thought that they could buy themselves more time. The analogy that I actually picked up the other day was not about baseball. It was about a crooked doctor, actually. And I heard this conversation. And there was a doctor, crooked doctor, who was doing some things that they shouldn't have been to a patient that they shouldn't be near. certainly shouldn't be their patient. Like malpractice lawsuit kind of stuff. And because they know that they're facing malpractice lawsuits from the truth of what's gone on, they didn't want to send out records, or they wanted to hide the records of what they've been doing, the medical records, from the victims or the family of the victims who could do something about it legally and otherwise. And so I heard this conversation where there was this crooked doctor, and this doctor was, they received requests from a victim for copies of these medical records, but this doctor did not want to hand these records over because it showcases all the things that they have done that they shouldn't have been doing. It shows their guilt. It opens them up to further lawsuit and liability. They're already facing that anyway, but they thought by hiding that evidence they could dodge the charge, criminal penalty. Yeah. Somebody says, oh, that is, yeah, I did say crooked, didn't I? Right, that's what I mean. This is also a doctor who was willing to lie to a judge in order to also dodge accountability and further target victims. So the doctor receives this request for the victim to receive, or one of the victims to receive, copies of the medical records that show the doctor's guilt and the criminals involved guilt, and not only the innocence, but the damage that's been done to the victims. So things that they can use in a lawsuit. And there was an impending court date coming up. Because this crooked doctor was trying to lie, and they were also trying to cover up what they were doing, and they were also trying to point fingers at the victim. And so even though they were legally obligated to send those records out when they got the request, what I heard, the conversation in the doctor's office was between the doctor and someone else, maybe a secretary or the person who gathers the records and sends out the records. This doctor said, oh, let's wait until court and see what the judge says. Let's see if the judge buys our lies in a few weeks or a few days and lets us cover up what we've done. Because then we can ask for permission not to have to send out those records, even though we're supposed to send them out now because legally it says on paper that we have to, and we've already received them dated. Yeah, let's just wait and see if we can get this crooked judge to help us cover things up so we don't actually have to send them out. Yeah, that happened. So let's just see. Let's just wait. Let's try to drag it out so that we don't have to do our jobs, and then maybe we can buy ourselves a little bit more time to cover it up. Yeah. Bulking. Disqualified. You forfeit. Whew. Get a little heated when the topic of especially grown adults trying to conceal child crimes, pedophilia, and domestic abuse comes up. And that's what that is. That's what that doctor's trying to cover up. The targeting of victims. Not the apprehension of criminals who caused harm to the victims, who traumatized them, who sexually assaulted them, children and women. No. No, they targeted the victims. They want to poke at the victims and use the victim, experiment on the victims, instead of looking into, I guess we're more interesting as light workers. Those karmics are basic. Narcissists are easy to understand and recognize once you recognize the pattern. You see, they want to get in our VIB club. We don't want anything to do with them. 19:8:22. Yeah, stakes. What is this? 1, 2. Hold on, I have to turn this light on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 8. 8 on this card. 8 of... I think that's a wand. They're a little different in this deck. Hold on. Pentacles, that's the same. Scythe. No, that's swords. The blades. Gotcha. Okay. Cups. Yeah, this is wands. 8 of wands. So there's communication coming through. Yeah, they wanted to block that. They didn't. It was in reverse. They did not want to have to share that information. They tried to hide. You see. 3 of, yeah. You see, because there's nowhere for them to go. This is just waiting for your ships to come in. It's like inevitable for them to have to take accountability, and also inevitable for the victims to, I hear, get one up over the villains, the dark people who did them harm. But more specifically, because that's not where I was going with that, but that's where they went with that. The light workers. It's inevitable for the light workers to overcome these challenges that these people tried to set, and they knew this. So they tried to stall it out for as long as they could, or they tried to buy themselves more time to sabotage it and try to permanently, I guess, destroy us. But they've gotten themselves in quite a pickle now, haven't they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of Pence. Target, bullseye. They were trying to target people. I just heard Practice by Drake. Yeah. So they're taking losses. They worked really hard to go nowhere fast, and they tried everything that they could to sabotage our progress and our movement forward, but it was for nothing. We're still moving forward. There it is. See, they tried though. It's that 8 of Wands again. King of Pentacles. This may have been, like, personally, the main person who's been coming after me, that recruited all these other people, was an earth sign. Not a King of Pentacles in regards to being wealthy. This is an addict. This is somebody who committed a plethora of different crimes in order to steal from me. And you're not some kind of responsible, admirable grown man when you are stealing from a woman and you have your hands in her pockets. And that's precisely what he did. That's bitch made, if I've ever seen it. Right. 2 of Swords. So, not dealing with it, defensive, but not confused. See, they couldn't stop anything. They couldn't stop their karma from coming. They couldn't stop our blessings. They could not force the Wheel of Fortune in their favor. They tried. They caught karma for it. They could not force the Wheel of Fortune out of our favor. They tried. They caught karma for it. Because it was unjust, universally speaking and legally speaking. In some cases, this was karmic couples doing this. In other cases, they're saying that they tried to come between the lovers. They tried to keep the twin flames from coming together. If not by trying to separate them, going in one ear of one and then trash talking the other, or whatever combination of things to create conflict, even, you know, energetically speaking, then trying to overburden, like slanderously, gossiping to one, trying to make the other look bad so there's conflict between them, then they're so mad at this. Trying to overwhelm one or both of them with such nonsense and drama, or false court cases in some cases, or whatever other situations, trying to make people sick. Oh, that's another one. I picked up a bunch of channels the last couple days and I didn't even bother writing them, or excuse me, channeling them all out, speaking on them yesterday. I focused more on the reading that I did, which I don't even think is up right now. But we'll go through those in a minute. Foolish. You're foolish. So basically, they try to overwhelm and overburden people to the point where they feel like they don't have space or time or room or energy for love. I need to turn the light on. Two, just two. Two of Cups, I'm telling you. These are people who tried to come between the lovers. Ace of Chalices, but they can't because the divine supports the light worker. Six of Wands. See, victory wreath. But they got what was coming to them. Their karma came boomeranging back around. Knight of Wands. It was very immature. They were all gung-ho and passionate to go commit these atrocities against other people. It was all fun and games. It's always fun and games, yeah? It's not so fun now that the rabbit's got the gun, is it? Cut it out. Kind of joking, but also not. Need to turn the light on again. 3, 4. So they tried to come between the home life, happy home life. Let me overburden you, or let me make you look bad so that your person won't want you, or you won't even be in the space of energy to receive them. That's what they were trying to do. Divine Masculine's laughing. It's like, it didn't work. That's hilarious. Yep, so their immature tactics have backfired. They sealed their own fate, though. And then, hold on, something about a reflection here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 of them. Yes, see? A couple of things. You have the duality here, the twins facing each other. I had a client a couple of years ago tell me that I reminded them of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the narcissist slayer. Ooh, 2822 Karmic just said, "You witch!" Be careful what you wish for. They're so mad. So there's the duality of things. First of all, it's just within the light worker facing their own reflection, light and dark, like the shadow aspects of themselves, facing shadow, fears, ego wounds, etc., to heal and release, to grow. On the flip side, this is facing, yes, goes hand in hand on the first one, but this is facing your counterpart, being able to come face to face. But this is the Seven of Wands, and so it's all these people in the background who wanted to pick a fight. They wanted to fight. We all have wands. We're on the same level. We all have wands. No. You see, Their wands are itty bitty, comparatively speaking, immature. First of all. Second of all, they use theirs immaturely and hostilely to attack people and knock people down at the knees, which means that they're already beneath people. They want to knock people off their squares. They use theirs to attack people. We use ours to defend ourselves from people trying to knock us down, knock us off of our squares, knock us off of our feet, take us out at the knees because they're already beneath us and we're already clearly above them. Otherwise, why would they do such a thing? It's like the people who try to copy in your footsteps while like claiming originality or that they did it first. Those things contradict, and not in a good way, and not in a this is a possible dualistic way. How can you try to step on somebody's toes, which requires you to be in front of them, when you're trailing in their footsteps behind them and copying everything they do? It just doesn't make sense. Can't be in both places. It's kind of like that. So they're getting cut off. Super mad, super mad. Backfires. There's something about the elevation of the light workers too, where if you've ever seen Buffy and the Vampire Slayer, when the sunlight hits the vamps, they into dust. And they don't come back. They don't resurrect. Not that kind of ashes. And so the elevation, the glow of the light workers shifting into a higher frequency. It's too bright for these cars. You can't stand to see me shine. Better buy a visor. You three-headed snake. Oh, I heard the gossip. I heard the rumor that you said you made me who I am. Darling, you're a fan. You're so toxic. Like Britney, bitch. I drop you just because I can. You thought you were the man. So there's that. Anything else? Angry. Karmic is angry. Nothing's working out in their favor. They're mad because it is for the light workers. Let me see what these cards say. Excessive logic, dry, analytical mind, lack of lucidity, mental opacity. Told you. Lies, destroy spirituality, against the principles of morality. I said that in the beginning. Integrity, sovereignty. Only interested in material things. Failure, negation of feelings, mistrust, fights positive ideas, dissatisfied perfectionist, capricious person, appropriates knowledge for oneself, swindler, pseudo-learned person, scandal. Yeah, see, like they copy little bits and pieces from other people and then try to claim originality. No. When often the things that they're copying from other people are things that those other people embody or are or do because it's something that they learn through lessons of experience and hardship, and it's not something you can just surface skim. They try, but that's why they cut karma and they look stupid, for starters. Fickleness, exactly. Need for pleasure, divorce, division. I picked that up yesterday too. So before these karmics get, she says I'm gonna be divorced. No, God said that. I'm just the messenger and you're mad at the truth. Sure, it is scary, but maybe don't be an ass. Use of knowledge only for material purposes. Yeah, vanity, restlessness, aggression. Need for approval and isolation. January 26th, January 30th. So, yeah, see, their karma's catching up with them quickly. May 23rd, August 6th, October 19th, December 29th, March 10th rather, 8:20 p.m. to 8:39 p.m. And then also December 22nd to December 26th, May 15th, July 30th, October 12th, December 23rd, March 3rd, 6 p.m. to 6:19 p.m. So these could be birth dates, death dates, anniversaries of karmics or light workers involved. It could also be when they committed these things against people or when they're catching their karma back. And I don't always get this, but I am getting this right now. In some cases, what this is for the crap these people did right around Christmas time. Now they're catching karma for it because it's January 20, is it today the 29th? 28th? 29th? I think it's the 29th. And so that fits into here between January 26th and January 30th. So we're right there. But for some people, it's because something these karmics did between December 22nd and December 26th. For some people, it's Christmas. Not a good look. You three-headed snake. Heard the gossip, heard the rumor that you said you made me who I am. Darling, you're a fan. So there's a karmic male who ran their mouth and lied, getting caught up, and or there's a divine masculine, possibly an air sign energy. If not that, somebody who's willing to be honest, able to be upfront and upright and honest. Ace of Chalices, because he's also this Ace of Cups. That's what I'm picking up behind him. And so he's heartfelt and emotional and soft and sensitive too. Which I like that energy. Much better than those cutting, abrasive karmics. They get so offended by our defensiveness, but we wouldn't have to defend ourselves if they weren't trying to knock people down. So that's that. They're catching hell for it now, judgment. That's that Wands energy, the Seven of Wands. You've got like divine masculine or feminine up high on a platform or a pedestal or somewhere that they've worked really hard to be, somewhere that they've earned, that they've got the ranking to be. And then you've got these jealous karmics with wee itty bitty wands, and they're mad because the light workers are elevated above them, and it's not fair that you're up there, light worker. We both have wands. So it's a fair match. What makes you better? You think you're better than us? That's what they do. And then they try to attack, which shows that they're inferior. Trying to knock people who are clearly above them or at least taller than them out from behind the kneecaps because they're already beneath whoever they're targeting. well, I mean, I can target you. It's a fair fight because we both have wands. No, short stack. Christmas is coming to haunt you, isn't it? Like Christmas karma. For some of them, it's a few years of it. You know what I've noticed, actually? That's the second time this week. Hold on. A few days ago, it was maybe yesterday, karmic female. I even talked to one of my doctors about this. I noticed it last week. One of these karmic female stalkers. She caused some issues and was stalking me and doing some things she shouldn't have been online recently. But last year, was it last year or the year before? Might have been both. At the exact same time of year, she was doing it. And my doctor, being professionally versed in this topic, knew what I was getting ready to say before I could even finish my sentence, and already verbally out loud agreed, like, oh yeah. And what I was trying to express out loud was based on my observation. It seems like she's having some kind of like seasonal psych break. Now, sometimes this happens with trauma. If something, let's say that somebody had some terrible trauma happen in the springtime, they might get extra triggered in the springtime unless they are aware of that and or work to heal that cognitively. There's that shadow wound energy or that reflection energy I mentioned earlier, the duality of it, the healing part. But in this case, sometimes, I mean, like if karmics go on their little crazy stints, it can be kind of like clockwork on a calendar. That was not a nice noise. I didn't like that one. Okay. But very much like these karmic energies, grating, very grating. But I'm picking up on this karmic male's energy right now. A big emphasis on a karmic male energy. Very bitch-made karmic male energy. Giving Napoleon complex. But Christmas time, last year or the year before, dude stirred the pot. Same time again this year, just lurking back around. I don't even know if they realized. Like, I don't know if it was a cognitive thing or if something internally in them just made them hyperfixated on me the second Christmas time rolled around, like whether they knew it or not cognitively, like a subconscious flashback memory that, I don't know. I hear they knew what they were doing. Yeah, well, I hear in a pickle, in a jam, his life is awfully hard. Well, he tried to compete with and come after a divine feminine, also copy me and steal my content, and then try to flip the script when I called him out for it. No. Tried to call me a liar because he deleted certain posts that he had made, not expecting me to have already taken not only screenshots, but videos of the videos he deleted. So he said, I didn't say that. I never said that. I didn't do that. Bitch, yes, you did. You just think nobody can prove it because you think you took it down. But I knew you were going to do that because I'm a real psychic. So I took videos first. Preemptive strike. Stay seated. Checkmate. True story, bro. Needs no dragons. Oh, goodness. So as far as the Seven of Wands, karmics, well, we both have wands. We can compete. No, light workers use ours to build ourselves. And when we need to clap back and clear karmics out of our face when they're trying to knock us out at the knees, yeah, so be it. But that's not us going around attacking people. They're attacking people out of competition and jealousy, and they're too busy trying to knock other people off of their own squares to establish any of their own. These are the types of people who are jealous of someone else's square, and so they want the square, they want the title so badly, but when they get there, they realize that they've got a fear of heights because they never actually did the shadow work to overcome the things that it takes to be, not only be at that level, but stay there and maintain it. These are the people that try to kidnap a green thumb's garden, right? They kick the green thumb out of their own garden. The green thumb's put on all this work for the whole season, and it's just about harvest time, right? Everything's flourishing, just about ready to pick their vegetables and everything, the bounty for the season. And a karmic has been eyeing their garden, and now that everything's ready to be picked and eaten and what have you, they want it for themselves. It's not their garden. It's not their land. They didn't put in the work. They didn't till the soil. They didn't grow shit. They didn't put the manure in there either. Which says a lot considering they're quite full of bullshit. They had plenty to spare. But you know. Divine Masculine's laughing in my ears and it's making me laugh harder. This is just, you're funny. I have tears in my eyeballs from laughing. Is it from you or me? Both, I think. Anyway. Hey, Karmic, I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care. Look, devils, I don't care. I don't want to hear it. $47.22. I hear they gave themselves splinters with those little short sticks. The short ones. Pulled the short sticks for themselves in this one. Playing with words in my ear. I just heard sovereignty again. Exactly. I had no integrity. So the green thumb, right? They try to snatch the green thumb's garden out from under them. But then they go in and they start picking all the fruits and the vegetables off and start eating. They take a bite out of something and then they throw it. And they go pick another thing and they take a bite out of it and they throw it. They don't even finish it. They're very wasteful. And then all of a sudden, in their little spin of a tornado, when, like Tasmanian devils, when everything is destroyed and they realize that the garden's destroyed, there is no garden left, it's damaged, it needs to be regrown, it needs to, they destroyed it, they can't maintain it, they don't know how to grow it back, then they need somebody to blame, because then they can't brag about this great garden that they claimed that they grew, which they did. They kidnapped the land from someone else and then took credit for someone else's harvest. These are brown thumbs, black thumbs. That's why they needed to take someone else's land and garden, and that why they were eyeing, I hear, coveting thy neighbor's everything. No, see, they feel targeted because the truth about what they did came out, but if they weren't targeting people, people wouldn't have to tell the truth about them. People wouldn't have to tell that they were snatching gardens and children. Spiritual bath. Requiring people to cleanse them out. They're catching karma. Everything they sent out has gone back. You'll be victorious against any attacks. And I did warn them that it wasn't good for them to send that crap out. Because of what they're dealing with now and what they will be continuing to deal with from this point. Yeah, completion. The energy work done against you is done. It's over. The spell's been broken. Exactly. So they start to the public, right? To the public. At first they claimed that the garden was theirs. It was theirs the whole time. They grew it from the ground up because they couldn't give credibility to the light worker that they stole the garden from. Oh no. Couldn't give credit to the true green thumb. Oh no. Right? Because then why would people tolerate and accept them governing that land? If people knew that it didn't belong to them, then people wouldn't praise them for growing the garden that they didn't grow. People would scold them for trying to usurp on someone else's land and garden. And they know that. So they needed to make up a story. But then it looks funny. If they're such great gardeners, which is what they claimed in order to justify having a garden, to try to cover up the fact that they stole it from someone else. Now it looks funny because everybody that they tried to boast about this garden to is looking at them and saying, well, if you grew that garden in the first place, it doesn't matter what damage is done or not, you should be able to repair it and regrow it, and you should have the knowledge on how to rotate the crops for optimal nutrient efficiency, and regrowing or rebuilding a new garden or repairing the other one, the old one, shouldn't be a problem if you have the skill set that you claimed that you had when you claimed that you grew it in the first place, because you claimed that this was your land and it's not land you stole from someone else. Now, meanwhile, all the slander that they've been throwing about the light workers have been backfiring in their face. Let me give it to you in this analogy in two ways. In the first case, they tried to slander and bully the light workers so people would praise them for the garden that they stole, right? Praise the Karmic for the garden that they stole, but berate the light worker. People would not support the light worker based on whatever the Karmics were saying. But now, people are looking at them and saying, well, how are you trying to blame the light worker? It's all the light worker's fault. It's the light worker's fault the garden's dead. It's the light worker's fault I have no garden. The light worker, it's the light worker's fault. What do you mean? I thought this was your land. How is it the light worker's fault then? If you didn't steal it from them. I thought you grew the garden. How is it the light worker's fault? It's your garden? What do you mean? You said they had nothing to do with it. You said you didn't steal it from them? How is it their fault if it has nothing to do with them, if it's yours? See, but they lied. Now people see that. That's one. Two is while the Karmic snatched and tried to harvest the bounty that the light workers had grown in their own gardens, the light workers went off and rebuilt new foundations elsewhere. So while the Karmics were trying to claim that, flipping the script, the light workers were the brown thumbs or the black thumbs, while they destroyed everything that the light workers had been building, claiming it for themselves and then trying to blame the light worker. It's the light worker's fault. They didn't grow the garden well enough. What do you mean? I thought you said you grew it. That's what you said in order to justify taking it in the first place. Which one is it? Now it's their fault? I thought you said they were incompetent and they didn't know how to grow a garden and it was yours, right? Well, fix it then. Except it wasn't, so you can't. So that was the first piece of it. The second piece is, aside from all of that, the light worker went off to build their own garden anyway. And so people watched them build from the ground up everything the Karmic swore they could never do, because they had to swear that they could never do them in order to claim that they hadn't been the ones to build what the Karmics were stealing. That was their cover story in order to not look like thieves. Now they look like bums and thieves. They broke what they stole and then needed somebody to blame when they wanted to fix it. I hear that. Hold on. There's a song. She's a girl, I think. She says, is this Selena Gomez? Hold on. It might be Lose You to Love Me by Selena Gomez. I have to double check on this one. But there's a line about, it's like something about like shit hitting the fan for a guy. You need me to fix it, and like me I did. No. Till I ran out of every reason. Suddenly you're asking for me back. Tell me, boy, now where'd you get that nerve? I think it's Tate McRae, actually. Telling me you miss all that we had. Well, I don't really care how bad you hurt, 'cause you broke me first. You broke me first. But also Lose You to Love Me came out. I've seen that one. King of Scythes. It's King of Swords again, I'm telling you. So cold-hearted Karmics are being cut off. Also this Divine Masculine. He's not, yeah. He says he understands if Divine Feminine has had to get rigid and put a defense up, why she does that. He says he wants to help her with that. He doesn't want her, if somebody has to wear that armor, let it be me. Meaning like he wants to protect her. He's saying something about also her softness allows him, really it's two things. This is a dualistic energy. It allows him to be strong. It gives him something he feels like he needs to stand up for. Divine Feminine in this case. His Divine Feminine. But also her softness, her being able to be in her feminine energy instead of having to be in that warrior mode, helps him honor his softness too, his creativity on levels, or there's something about that he was referencing. Something about, I feel like there's more to it than this is just a piece of it, but something about being able to let his guard down around the right people. Skinny Living. He left scars, I'm here to heal for you. And I know where you are, 'cause I've been there before. But open up your heart and let me in. The shadow energy, break free from your shadow. Let me begin to show you how I love you. Not begging for us. Yeah. See, in these karmics, these devil energy, they thought that they could destroy what people were building and snatch it for themselves. Is that garden energy. But he destroyed it. Now he's sitting there salty, trying to blame somebody for the rubbish pile he's got behind him that was a flourishing garden before. Oh, gosh. So God is catching them up for lying. Uh-oh. Let me turn the light on for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I thought. No, that's 8. Oh, dear. Yeah. Yeah, see? Leaving behind that old toxic, stale energy. 8 of Cups. Toast. I just heard ride or die as I'm holding the other energy that came out twice in 2 separate shuffles. First, it was the King of Swords, which was that first divine masculine energy. Like, let me be the warrior in your life. If somebody's got to be the warrior and put on the armor, let it be me, may it pieces. But also, her love and the reason that he protects her so she can remain in that soft energy also helps him with this creative energy, this intuitive energy, this soft, loving space. I also feel like she helps him ground back down into that softness and then find the balance point between the two. But I feel like they do this for each other. They work to do this for themselves, certainly individually. The Hierophant, yeah, just balancing, making sure things are upright. But they also help ground each other. They also help regulate each other. It's just kind of a natural effect. Between the two of them. Oh, there's a Karmic who's very angry. You know what, though? I don't care. Why are you so mad? I hear because you... Something about getting away with it. They feel like they won't get away with it. She feels like she won't get away with it. Yeah. She says, I shouldn't have done that to you, and I should have listened. Okay, and so she was warned. There it is. She was warned not to mess with, I would say, divine feminine, or both divine masculine and divine feminine. Yeah, because she was in devil energy. Knight of Pentacles. They were playing, trying to be combative. It backfired big time. Wheel of Fortune, and they've anchored their own fate into being nothing but chaos and damage, which is what they wanted for other people. So that's karma. That's Uno reverse, frankly. Anything else? Yeah, out in the cold now. Yeah, because all they wanted to do was cause conflict. So now there are groups of light workers who are banding together to protect each other and overcome this cycle once and for all. You've got the Queen of Swords to match this divine masculine's. He left scars. I'm here to heal for you. And I know where you are, 'cause I've been there before. I need to turn the light on for a second. 7, 7. Yeah, see the devil. I told you. Hiding in the corner over here. Little sneak. 7. I think the 8 came out too. Encroaching, I hear. Encroaching on people's finances. Trying to mess with people's money is big backfire. They have 0 divine support. Chariot in reverse. 2 of Pence in reverse. So they were trying to juggle things. Either make light workers juggle. That's being balanced out now. But they were trying to make people walk on eggshells to boost their own lives up. And so now that Uno reverse, that karma coming back, it means that they're catching hell. They have no divine support. They're catching karma for it. And I'm being called to drop the mic right on that. And there you go. At least for the reading. Let's clear the space a little bit. Also that I'm picking up this karmic female energy, ripping her hair out, that kind of hostile, crazy anger. Like so angry she's self-harming that way. I know, sounds wild, it is. It's an extreme, like, adult tantrum. She does this thing, crazy, where she's so angry that things aren't working out for her. She runs her fingers through her hair and gets her hair, like, her fingers all up inside her hair right here. And then when she gets her hair all woven up in between her fingers, she grips her fists into her palms into fists, so there are fistfuls of hair all woven between her fingers and gripping in her palms, and then she just like yanks out and rips like strands or chunks of her hair out. It's freaking crazy, dude. I've never seen anything like it. But anyway, that's what she's doing. And I keep particularly today picking up on a water sign doing that. Now I picked that up twice actually while I was on the road earlier. And I also let the general vicinity know about the prophecy I was picking up that just came out live publicly here. And it was specifically a Cancerian toxic karmic female water sign that I was picking up on, and that just came out. So there's that. The sacred waters. Tears in my eyeballs. I've been laughing so hard. You know? Why did we do that? Because you little rats, you thought you'd get away with it. Dumb. That's all I've got to say about that. I mean, I could say more. What else needs to be said? Other than stupid is as stupid did. Repeatedly. Say less. I'm gonna sleep so good tonight. Anybody want some Reiki? Happy to do a little bit of that. Before I go, Oh, these karmics are so angry. Okay, so there's this one karmic female energy, and she is like fantasizing about angrily just marching over to, I would say, probably a divine feminine's house somewhere. And she wants to set the place on fire. Like straight up arsonist. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Terrible idea. I get herself arrested. At minimum. If I'm picking up, it'll be worse for her than that. Back to these couple of channels before I finish up. I heard Slow It Down by Benson Boone. Heard it a day or so ago, clairaudiently, so I wrote it up here, and then while I was in a vehicle today, that hit the radio. Then there was something about blue collar. I picked up something about like a blue collar energy or blue collar crime. Blues often have to do, blue collar is somebody that like works a job, like a police officer. They all wear blue uniforms, that kind of an ordeal. Not just cops, but that kind of a dress, attire, very consistent color, suit. And so if somebody's committing blue collar crimes, this can be within that sector or that field. And then I heard mitigate. So whether this is people being grimy, trying to manipulate systems in order to abuse people, or this is people in the system, like dirty cops. Criminals trying to use systems to abuse people, or dirty cops not doing their jobs within the system. There was something about mitigation, and to mitigate is a legal reference of let's say somebody does you wrong, right? And they have a lawyer. Their lawyer's very likely going to try to mitigate the damages, meaning to get them as less of a charge as they can. And if they've got to pay out to a victim or whatever, it is what it is. But they try to get as little of a damage or charge as possible for their client, and they try to neutralize the situation often to appease, at least on some level, the victim, to mitigate the damages. So there's that. I also heard Divine Masculine speak about Divine Feminine a few days ago, and he said she's a bona fide hustler. Then I have to double check this one. I heard something about a Rough Rider. There were a few references to this one. There was one main one. I think it went hand in hand with the bona fide hustler, kind of like a baddie energy, if I recall. And then, oh goodness gracious, I heard something about karmics lacing drugs with something, like being mindful about consuming, even smoking weed with somebody, because I picked up something about somebody trying to lace somebody's whatever with something that shouldn't be in there, including just leaving weed. And unfortunately, sometimes people do that. Dealers will do that. They'll sprinkle cocaine, fentanyl even on weed or whatever, because they want to make it more addictive. Not to the point where somebody even notices that it's in there, but there's something, molecularly speaking, their brain picks up the fact that there's something else in there and creates some kind of dependency or addiction. And what the dealer wants is for the people to keep coming back to them, and particularly them. But unfortunately, these are the types of things that people have been known at this point to soak embalming fluid in, or soak in embalming fluid that's dangerous and deadly, or fentanyl, and it only takes a couple of like little salt or sugar sprinkles. Just like if you accidentally spill a few grains of salt on the table, that's pretty much how much it takes. Just a few little sprinkles of salt, a few little grains of salt worth. A couple of grains of salt worth of fentanyl is all it takes to kill someone. And so that's not a good situation. But what I picked up was somebody trying to lace something because they wanted somebody to be under the influence to the point where they could be assaulted. Now, this could be a toxic ex or something that somebody has in some cases, or maybe just some crazy obsessed person. But they're wanting to lace something, somebody's drink or joint or something, with something that shouldn't be there, so that they can sexually assault this person. This is a karmic male, it seems like, or it might not just be a karmic male. It's maybe a group of toxic people trying to target somebody together. But there's this energy of somebody wanting to slip somebody something so that they can demobilize them and assault them, because what they're trying to do is infect this person with an STD that they know that they have. In some cases, it may be because they want this person to be with them and they think that they can, like, some of these karmics think that if they infect people, then people will stay with them because at least they're STD compatible. Like, they think that if they infect somebody with an STD, then whoever they infect will believe that nobody will want them since now they're infected. And so they'll just stick with the person who infected them instead of anything else. Or maybe they won't speak up about it because maybe I hear embarrassing, like maybe they think that the victim will be embarrassed or something like that, like nobody will love them now or whatever. They can bully and shame and stick this person into, or infect this person into silence and staying with them. That's what they're thinking and that's what they want. So be mindful of that. In other cases, it's just because they're angry. They're angry that they have something, they want somebody else to be infected. In some cases, it's just, they're just nasty people. But be mindful. Somebody says, well, don't they care that they can go to jail with that? Imagine, though, that you have something that you know that you're going to be dying from or you can't get rid of or something. And so what's jail time when you have a death prophecy hanging over your head to a karmic? Imagine, right? Like, yeah, it was a rational thought. I understand that thought process, and I understand why you would think to pose that question. But from a karmic's perspective, it's like, well, if I'm already going to die, then who cares? If I'm already, heard. So they feel like they have nothing to lose. Yep, exactly. And that makes them even more dangerous, especially when they also feel like they'll go to the extremes and stop at nothing to target a victim to get what they want. Like when a victim leaves domestic abuse, for example, it's even more dangerous for victims when they're leaving abuse, or even after they leave, than when they're with the or abuser rather, because obviously if they're leaving abuse, it's because being in that abusive situation was bad. Otherwise they wouldn't have had to leave it. But the thing about that is, as long as that person, it's no reason to stay, because the abuse does get worse and people get very injured or die often when they don't leave. But they become targets regardless when they do as well. And so it's a double-edged sword either way. You get hurt if you stay, and if you leave, they want to cause harm and target you and trap you back. Why? Because if you're there, at least you're still in their mind under their control. You're still with them. But the second you leave, they feel like they've lost all control of the situation. Like, as long as you're there, they can try to gaslight you back and what have you. Like, that's what they feel like. It's easier. But the second you leave, it shakes their reality. It breaks. They've deluded and gaslighted themselves into thinking that A, this is okay, B, that you'll accept it, C, that they'll get away with it, etc. And when you do walk away, it shatters that delusion. And so they start getting wildly desperate, and they dive deeper into that delusion, and they'll do anything that it takes, including further hurting people, to get what they perceive as control back over the situation. It's also why they lie. These narcissists, why they lie about people and why they slander others and try to flip the script, because it's their way to control the situation, people's belief systems over a situation or another person based on slander, right? When people can't control you anymore, they try to control the narrative. Because if they can control the narrative, they can control, in some cases, how people look at you. And if they think that they can control how people look at you based on that false narrative, they can control how people treat you. If people tolerate them bullying you, if people help them bully you, if people step in and help protect you or not. It's all based on what the liar tries to slander. And that's why they do it. Karmic is crying. Some of them are mad. It's a very mixed bag. Some of them are feeling defeated. I feel like they're all feeling defeated, but some of them are angry. Some of them have accepted that defeat. Some of them are angry. A lot of them, some of them don't have any sense of remorse. So heads up. Like, they just genuinely don't feel bad. They don't care. They don't care that they hurt people. They don't care. They're mad that they got caught. They're mad that they've been called out. They're mad that they're being held accountable and that they're not being allowed to do this anymore. But they genuinely don't give a flying fuck that they've hurt people, based on what I'm picking up. And I heard, call it like I heard it, a flying fuck specifically. They don't care. Like, they're mad at victims for telling the truth about the abuse. You should have just shut up about the abuse and tolerated what I was doing to you, is what it's giving. They don't feel bad. They're mad that they got caught and called out. 8422. So, I just lit some sage because that was gross energy. Oh. There's abundance Reiki coming through. The other thing that I picked up on was narcissists and depression. Okay. So I picked up that there was I've seen this actually, karmic male, and he talked about wanting to try to treat his depression, or like something about his parents wanted him to, or something like that. But the thing about that is he's no poor little baby. He's depressed. No. He's a narcissist. Somebody that's in a consistent state of misery like that, narcissistically, because they're never happy as long as they're not controlling and abusing other people. And if they are, it's usually drug-fueled and short-lived. Antidepressants are not going to make them not narcissistic. Like, it's the narcissism that's making them miserable and hate life. It's not that they have depression. The depression's a symptom of narcissism, right? So what they're trying to do is treat the depression, or what they're thinking about or talking about doing is treating the depression as if it's its own issue, as if it's the diagnosis, but it's not the diagnosis. The depression is a symptom of his narcissism. It's a symptom of a bigger diagnosis. The depression is just a symptom of a much larger umbrella. And so that's why trying to treat their narcissistic son's depression didn't work, because he's not depressed. He's narcissistic. He's upset that he can't hurt people, and upset that he's in trouble for hurting people, and upset that he is not being allowed to do it anymore, and God didn't get away with it. Pretty much. I also heard another one a day or so ago, and it was about, it was Karmics talking about Brahmic religion, or concept, and honestly, very likely sounded like it was about me, but there was a karmic energy acknowledging, oh, okay, so let's say Divine Feminine connects with Brahmic energies, right? Hindu Trinity energy. Well, maybe we need to do that, or try to do some Brahmic spells or something like that, as one karmic said to another, and the other said, no, if she naturally connects with the ancient Brahmic energies, then that is the last thing we need to do. Like, they don't fuck around. We need to back the hell up off of her. Yeah. Because she doesn't call them and they come. I hear they're talking about me. She doesn't call them and they come. But if she called them, when she calls them, they come. But she doesn't call them for them to come. Yeah. They come without her calling, but if she called them, they would come. Correct. And that's that. The reason that this is somebody, one of the people in the mix, obviously not all of them, has enough of an understanding to know that, look, first of all, this is Trinity energy. It's divine energy, and it's ancient, and it's powerful. And so if it is in support of or in protection of a divine being, it will decimate the karmics. Meaning, not only do you need to stay away from it and people who naturally connect to it, but you definitely don't need to be trying to play around in it. It will eat you alive, and then from the inside out again. Like the equivalent of a dog eating something it shouldn't, puking it up, and then eating it again, and then puking. Don't do that, karmics. It's not good for you.
wasn't good for you the first time. Don't ask me why. That's the vision I just saw. That's what you're being equated to, little Karmies. Dog puke. So just stop. Before you get mad at me, just call it like I saw it. Cheers. That's what happens. So you lie down with dogs, you get the fleas. Speaking of, there's Brahmic Reiki coming through. It's just Trinity energy.
There's Serenity Reiki coming through as well. Sovereignty Reiki. Not surprising. Elevation Reiki. Also elocution. Elocution Reiki. Which I'm being clearly heard and understood. Also ease of accomplishment on a task or a goal, especially if there's something written or spoken involved. Oh, possible conversations. Information coming out. There it is. There's the download. Information coming out. Also communication between, if not counterparts, then soul family. Do a little bit of aura healing. Thank you. Close any holes. Oh, goodness. There's a karmic trying to laugh. At Lightworkers, a karmic male, but I'm picking up some downloads. And I'm being called to just be quiet about it. There's no need to gloat. But don't worry about him. Don't worry about that kind of an energy. Is the message. If I told you what I was picking up, it would hurt his feelings. I don't need to do that. I'm not looking to do that. But I'm telling you, you've got nothing to worry about, Lightworkers. Somebody's asking, what about this karmic male? Just very aggressive, bullying, manipulative, type of sneaky person who tries to hurt people and steal and just take what they want from life and out of people, out of life and from people, and then very entitled, that narcissistic, grandiose entitlement, and then has the audacity to play the victim and then blame the victims when he gets caught. That kind of nasty. So, yeah, of course. Somebody says intimidated. You mean, is he laughing out of delusion or intimidation? I'm hearing not delusion, so yeah, I would say that's correct. He's scared because he knows the truth that I'm speaking is correct. I hear calm and nonchalant. He doesn't understand how I can just so calmly break this down and then move on. Elocution Reiki. Because they think that they can try to intimidate people with their actions, and then with that like fake, you know, laugh it off, ha ha ha, energy, and then when that doesn't work, they end up feeling threatened. They try to spook other people and it spooks them when it doesn't work. Talk about an Uno reverse. It's projection, that's all.
hate in their heart. Oh gosh. The karma that's about to, I mean, this is a big cycle of energy coming back to people. So it's like you reap what you sow. The hate all these people had was hate. Just hate in their heart. They had hearts. Some of them didn't have hearts. Just had a black hole filled with hate. Hearts were missing. And you know what I'm seeing? What is that? Operation game, like the kids game, the buzzards. But it's got pieces missing. They're missing their heart. Anything else? Protection. Okay, let me do a couple of shields really quickly. Okay. Do a quick aura, sweep. Cut any cords of connection that need to be cut. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for help with that. If there's anything you need to address, because I feel that. And then repairs. Do a quick chakra alignment. There's lots of energy shifting out. Hold on, that was intense. There's a bit stuck in the chest. Okay. Clear that crown. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Please remember to pray. Do no harm, take no crap, and I will catch you on the next one. Blessings and namaste.